Hey guys! So today guys, I'm going to be talking about my transition from primary school to secondary school. Now I do cover this in my speeches quite a bit, but I did want to go into a bit more detail and suggest 5 things that made it worse for myself and 5 things that would have made it better. And that's not just for me generally, but that's for everybody. You know, what I feel could help somebody with autism from that transition from primary to secondary in any environment. So one of the things that I struggled with was all my friends went to a different school and I went to another one. Because I was under a statement which is now an educational health and care plan, basically the government got to pick what school I went to. I went to a school in Reading that had an ASD unit, which was an autism spectrum disorder unit. I found the unit was difficult because it seemed that they only wanted people with the condition that behaved, and the people that had signs of struggle who didn't quite cope or didn't quite get the support they needed, they were slowly kicked out of the school, like myself. Now, the tricky situation with that was because it took me a long time at primary school to make friends. When I went to this secondary school, I didn't have as many friends. I had friends in the autism unit, but because then everybody knew I had autism outside the unit, not a lot of people really wanted to get to know me, and the stigma around autism is obviously that, you know, horrible things at a mainstream school. I would normally be called thick, retarded, all of the names you could think of just because of my autism, and that could be very difficult. Number 2, sudden independence. At primary school, it's small things, but at primary school, you'd always have, you know, your books, your pens, always provided for you. You know, and when you go to secondary school, you're almost left on your own. You know, you've got to do everything for yourself all of a sudden. And I know it's all part of growing up, but for somebody with autism, that was very difficult for me to actually manage, for me to do. I constantly forgot things, and it wasn't like it was understood. If I went into a classroom and forgot my book or my pen, the teacher would just go, right, get out, you know. And that was the kind of strictness there. Instead of just saying, okay, this person might have something, let's just give him a pen and a book for this lesson and remind him that he needs to bring it in next time, or put a support thing in there, like, okay, so if you give me your maths book, I'll make sure that it's always here, so when you come in next lesson, I've got it here for you so you won't forget it again. Just simple things like that don't cost money, that don't take a lot of effort. If things like that was implemented in secondary schools, it would really help somebody with autism. It would make their journey in secondary school a lot smoother. Number 3, lack of communication from the autism unit and the secondary school's main sector. I would have a TA who would come to me with lessons, but sometimes they wouldn't attend. Sometimes, you know what schools are like, very budget restricted. You know, a teacher would normally have to be in 2 places at once, timetables would get mixed up, all of the above. So if I ever did go into a school lesson where I didn't have a TA, half the time that main teacher didn't know I had autism, didn't know I had a learning condition, didn't know of anything. If I hadn't brought my books, he would kick me out like he would anyone else without actually having that understanding and of autism behind it. If that was communicated more between the autism unit and the main school, then there could have been things put in place to help myself in that situation. Number 4, lack of understanding from even people in the unit. Sometimes I felt that there wasn't even any training that was done for these teachers who were supporting people with autism in the unit. Some of them didn't even have basic understanding, like change of routine, or they might forget, you know, the pencils and pens, or the anxiety. You know, at one point I was getting bullied by 7 people, and I told the teacher that, and she looked at it as just one of those things, you know, instead of realising how much of an impact that could have with somebody with autism. Lack of understanding the autism unit. And number 5, no excitement to get up for that school. You know, there were other things that I was always interested in, you know, at primary. They started doing talent shows, they started doing drama, and I loved all of that stuff, and it made me want to go to school, it made me want to learn. But when I went to the secondary school unit, it wasn't much of that, even though they are known for their kind of drama, theatrical stuff. But then I wasn't quite given the opportunities as what other people had because of my autism. Because I would go there with one TA once, the drama teacher would see me with that TA, they would then think, you know, I'm not going to give him a main part because he probably isn't capable of doing it, and then I would have missed opportunities and wouldn't be able to do the things that I loved because I was then stigmatised or stereotyped by the teacher straight away. And again, it's just that lack of understanding in that school which makes it difficult, makes it hard, makes it horrible. So 5 things I suggest that helps. I mean, if you can stick with your friends, definitely do that, because it takes years to make friends, I feel, with someone with autism, and I feel if I was with my friends it might have helped me a lot more. 2, check the school before you join, do your research, speak to people whose parents that their children might be there. If that amount of people got kicked out while I was there, then I can only imagine the amount of people that got kicked out of that unit beforehand, and if we'd have had a better understanding of that, then I probably wouldn't have gone there. 3 as well, I think with timetables and all of that stuff, I think it's important if parents speak to the teachers maybe in that unit or at that secondary school. Just keep consistency with that teacher, explain to him the issues and the things that are happening, and put things in place for your child, or put things in place for yourself as well, to make sure that you're going to remember that book, or you're going to remember this at that day, and speak to the teacher about it, because that's one of the things I didn't do. I was too nervous, too shy to do it. And maybe just speak to your parents when you go home and say, look, I'm really having difficulty with the maths teacher. Why is that? I keep forgetting this, I keep forgetting that. And maybe you can sort out an arrangement with that teacher to make sure that's put in place so it's easier for you when you go into the lesson. I would also ask the school about training programs so the teachers know about the sensory issues, and allow the teacher to explore giving them a fidget toy or anything that might help with their sensory overload in the lesson. Ask about getting additional teaching support as well, and how as well that person with autism might feel with having that extra support in the lesson. Number 4, I think it's addressing the school really and making sure they're putting things in place and having constant reviews on what they've done to help you and help maybe your child that's got autism. Just having those reviews, those performance plans, and seeing where they need to gain more progress in, and what what they can do and what you can do to put that in place as well. And 5, I think most of it lies with the school. I think schools are getting better since the Autism Act come in, but most of it lies within the school. You as a parent can do everything that you can, but at the end of the day, when they're at the school, it's for the school to put in place and for them to implement. And if they're not doing that, then it's just not going to work. And that's why inclusions happen, not because people are badly behaved, but it's because the schools just don't know how to support people with them. And maybe it's because of budget, maybe it's because of X, Y, and Z, but these schools really do need to start supporting people. And if you can provide them all the information of how to support that person, and put those things in place for yourself as well, like fidget toys, like hand toys, just to keep the anxiety levels down, or anything that you can think of with sensory rooms, or getting that additional teaching support in the classrooms, and you can challenge that, then the only person it's left down to is the schools to make sure that that's right. Because I always feel as well, if the school can't get it right, then it sets the kind of levels up from when you leave school. If you can't get it right here, that means you won't get your GCSEs, that means you won't get your grades, and before long you're always kind of one step behind, which is what I was like, because my school couldn't get it fixed. Therefore I went to a school which was lovely, but they didn't do GCSEs, and that made it harder for me to go on in life. Luckily I'd done okay, but it just took a bit longer, and it was a lot harder as well, and I don't want anyone to go through that. So schools really need to take responsibility and start supporting people, the support that they need. But guys, tell me what you think of this video. I hope it helped, and guys, thank you for watching. Put down what you think schools could be doing as well, and that transition that could be really smoother as well. And guys, thank you for watching. Take care, and goodbye for now.